Hey everyone, today I'm going to be debunking the top 5 biggest myths about fly tying so you can finally make the leap. All right, let's dive right in with myth number 5. You need really expensive gear to get started. Fly tying gear can be as cheap or as expensive as you want it to be. Sure, some of those $500 vices look amazing, but you can get started with a simple setup for significantly cheaper. Think about it like you would purchasing a new fly rod. There's some legendary rods out there that are going to set you back thousands of dollars. But many budget-friendly options exist that meet your needs. Now, I will add some caution. Going for some really cheap options like some of those starter kits you may see that say everything you need to start tying your own flies, those can sometimes cause more frustration than it's worth when you're trying to learn the basics. Rotary vices like this one will cost you less than $150 and it'll give you a good foundation as you learn. Now just remember, a sturdy vise, a couple of good tools, and a handful of materials are all you really need to start tying some great flies. Myth number 4. Hand-tied flies work better than store-bought flies. Just because you labored over the perfect elk hair caddis fly and you think you nailed it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work any better than the ones you picked up from the local fly shop or even online. Where it could give you an edge is if you're on a trip and you have your materials with you and your vise, but a fly shop isn't super convenient. Now you have the option to customize your flies and try to match the hatch a little better than with what you picked up before you got there. In reality, though, as a beginner, I think you shouldn't be focusing on what's going to get you the competitive edge on a fish and more just another connection point to the sport that you already love. Before we get to number 3, if I've already convinced you that you're going to start your fly tying journey, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Myth number 3, you have to be an artist to tie good flies. Do my flies always look like Instagram-worthy works of art? Nope. Do they catch fish? Absolutely. Just like watching a YouTube video of someone landing massive brown trout, one after the other, the perception of what we see online doesn't always match reality. As you practice, you will get better. But your first flies are going to look pretty rough. You know who doesn't seem to care? The fish. Even the shoddiest looking flies will still fool the fish and give you the satisfaction that you caught a fish with something you tied yourself. Make sure when you're getting started, visit a local fly shop. Ask them for some simple patterns that catch local fish. They will be more than happy to point you to the right materials for patterns that work in your area. Also ask them if they have a fly tying night. That's where you can learn alongside tyers of all skill levels, have a few beers, and maybe even meet some new fishing buddies. Myth number 2, fly tying takes forever. Some flies are complex, sure. You think some of those crazy salmon patterns you see, but most of the flies you'll actually use, like woolly buggers, nymphs, midges, some, clouser minnows, they can be tied in just a few minutes. Also, the more you practice, the quicker you will get. Try searching YouTube for quick and easy fly patterns, and you're going to get dozens of well-made tutorials showing you each step. It's also something you can do while you're hanging out with the family, at the coffee table, while you're watching Netflix or, whatever game's on. Tie a couple and then be done. It's not something that will have to consume your evening unless you want it to. The truth is, basic flies can be tied pretty quickly. With a little practice, you'll be cranking them out in no time. And finally, myth number 1. It's cheaper to tie flies than it is to buy them. Don't get into fly tying thinking it's going to save you money, unless that's the story you need to tell to get some purchases approved. Just like with fishing, once you get bit by the bug, you want to keep adding materials. You want to keep experimenting with different patterns. You're going to buy books that have vintage styles that you can tie up and try to catch a fish. Resurrect something that's archaic and hasn't been used in 150 years. That can add up quick. I like to think of it more as an extension of the fishing hobby. It's something to do that connects you with the sport when the seasons or the weather aren't cooperating to actually get out there and fish. Also, there's just something extra special about catching a fish on a fly that you yourself tied. So there you have it. The top 5 myths about fly tying debunked. If you're on the fence about getting into fly tying, here's my advice. Just start. You'll be surprised how fun and easy and rewarding it is. Let me know in the comments what you thought the biggest fly tying myth was and if I missed any. Also, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.